Finance Committee meeting on July the 6th. Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Thames? Mr. Higginbotham? Mrs. Smith?
Here.
And Mr. Harden? Here. So we got 2 out, you have 3, so we know who'll be making all the firsts and seconds.
We're hanging on to a quorum.
Now we do it in regard, you know that.
Okay. All right.
Ms. Smith and Mr. Harden?
Is it just the 3 of us?
Yeah, but y'all the only 2 that can make motions.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I would move to approve the meeting, the minutes as presented without reading them.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign, 3-0, that passes. 220917, request for update on Homewood Board of Education bond project and funding. I don't believe we have anything new on this. We could almost table it if we'd like to. I don't know that we're going to get a ton of new
I'll move to table it only because I know that the city expenditures have ended.
Yeah.
We exceeded, they capped out on the amount that we gave them, so everything henceforth is going to come out of the budget from the school board. So we can just keep this on here until, we can table it until they can come back when it's all done and let us know.
So that's a motion to table from Mrs. Smith. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
When I went through the bills, there were still some pretty minor stuff coming at us. I don't know where that is in the expenditure. The work's been done. But,
Yeah, I think they said that the last things would be coming in for June, and there weren't supposed to be any expenditures after that.
Right.
So-
And the key is we funded 55 million
Yeah.
and they're well over that, but they are picking up
The rest.
over expenditure over
Yeah.
55 million, but
Mr. Jones?
that would probably be good to do that. Yes.
I just want, in y'all's communications, I know we're done with our expenditures. Is it about done? Do we
Yes.
have any idea if it's going to be July or before the so-called school year that's going to?
Well, they backed up the school start till August 19th.
Right.
But I think, I was emailing with Bill this morning. He's officially retired now. But I think my guess is they're probably finishing up smaller items. But if you look at it from the outside, it looks pretty done.
My sense is that it's going to be done. There might be some punch listing sort of items left, but they're going to be okay.
I assume they're going to have a ribbon cutting or something, and that's going to,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be July or August or September or when.
I know they are planning one. I don't know that I don't
Okay.
think a date has been set yet.
All right, thank you.
Probably August 18th at midnight.
Probably so.
That's probably going to be the day. But, yeah, don't quote me on that.
too late
Okay,
to quote it.
we have a motion and a second to table this item. We can always bring it back if we need to. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed by the same sign, 3-0 to table. The next one's going to be similar, 110717. Request for update on new public safety center construction project. I know we're in the process of moving in, so
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to have a ton more updates. We can either drop this or we can table it, whatever the committee would prefer.
I know we still have bills coming at us because I reviewed them. I don't know where we are on that. As far as, that's always the case in a construction project. The bills come in after the fact. But it seems to me they're done moving in. I think there's some computer stuff they were working on.
We may have some bills rolling in for a little bit. We actually had a couple of retainage bills that we paid for Berkeley's Park project, which has been done for quite some time, but we were holding for some stuff. So there's usually a delay between when they move in and the bill, and then we probably hold some retainage on there too. So we may still get some bills in the run for a little bit.
But I don't necessarily think we need to keep the item on.
I don't think so
Just
either.
because bills are coming in.
No,
I wouldn't either.
I agree.
But yeah, y'all can table. I'm just letting you know, you'll probably see bills. Is Mr. Thames doing vouchers this next time? Y'all never answer me. Maybe he was in denial.
He should be, yes.
Because I thought that July, August, and September was going to be, I thought at least in my mind, I emailed y'all to say,
You did.
wasn't Mr. Harden's turn anymore, but Mr. Thames didn't email me back.
Do my
But,
job.
just letting y'all know, y'all might still see some bills because, and I don't remember when Berkeley's was it, but the two of them we just paid on Berkeley's because we were holding them for some
It
things
is
to be
Mr.
completed.
Tame's turn.
Yeah, it is. He'll do next.
Okay.
Yeah. You're off the hook.
Unless you want to, unless you love it so
No,
much.
that's fine, I
if
mean,
you want to
you
do it
know,
another couple of
The
months.
second one was a lot shorter than the first one, but
Hey, you just don't want to be October, November, and December, which is going to be
It won't be me.
Mr. Jones, Dr. Jones, because then you're doing 2 fiscal years at one time.
Oh, that's perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
So it's
Great.
good you got the chairman for that one.
Okay, so is there a motion to table that item?
Do we want to drop it?
Drop. Is there a motion to
I'll
drop?
make a
I
motion
make
to
a-
drop. Yeah. You want to
Okay.
do it? You
I
make
make a motion, we drop
Okay.
110717.
And I
Okay,
would
Mr.
second
Harden's moved to drop. It's seconded by Mrs. Smith. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed by the same sign, 3-0 to drop. Okay, 160220, request for consideration for lighting at 700 block of Windsor Drive.
Wait,
Right, funding the street.
You missed-
I
you
reached out
missed
to
si-
Mr. Hamley today, and the Alabama Power representative was unable to be here tonight, so they can be here for the next meeting to present. They were going to present kind of what all has to be done to provide the lighting. So that's all I know.
Okay.
If we want
Carry it
to-
over.
We just probably need to
Yeah,
carry it
I
over.
think carry it over.
Until we get that.
You missed 060220,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
which is street funding.
I was coming back to that one. Okay, so without objection, 160220, we're going to carry that over.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to go back, thank you, Mr. Harden, we're going to go back to 060220, request for consideration of funding street improvements. We have had several reports on this one as well, and this was kind of our catch-all for, this was different street improvements that we've had. I don't have anything new on this. Mr. Gwaltney, do you have anything?
I don't. I was hoping for a final accounting of some of the projects, so we could see if there were funds available to at least perform one of said projects. So currently,
I think President Wright was talking about, at least at one time, where President Wright about having a work session once we did the sidewalk one we had, and then once we get some of the rest, last
Perfect.
bills. So, is that right, President Wright?
What's that?
He's not listening to me.
I was not.
That you were possibly considering, this has kind of become the thing about using the bond proceed money that's left, but I told him I thought you were thinking about having a work session once we got the COVID update, which we did last time, and we got through the sidewalk, and give us about another few weeks to get the bills in. for public
Or
safety.
send it to budget hearings. I mean, that's
Yeah,
where the
we
capital
can do that too.
projects are going to be discussed that one night, or we can have a special called meeting, whatever.
We do it back to back, frankly, we can have a little general discussion right before the budget hearing and send them on over. So,
That's fine. So we would need, I guess, need to recommend sending this for a special called meeting and also for budget hearings.
I would move to send 060220 to a special called work session meeting prior to budget hearings and also to budget hearings.
Second.
Okay.
and then,
Hold on one second. Moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. Yes, sir.
and then just at the council meeting, we'll come up with a date. Okay?
Yes, okay.
Got it.
At next Mondays, okay. It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed by the same sign, 3-0. That passes. Okay. We carried over 160220, and now we're to 020520. A request to consider adopting a donated sick leave policy for city employees. I thought we could, this is going to be I would say, a complex type discussion and is going to take some time, but I thought it would be prudent to go ahead and at least start the discussion and get you some information on it. From a high level, what we're looking at is just providing a consistent leave policy for the city. Because what we have is we have some departments that have their own, and other departments that are following what they thought was more of a city policy. And so maybe looking to just provide a consistent policy citywide. That's really the overall issue with this item. And I was going to ask Ms. Salter to provide some further background on this, and we can send you some support documentation in terms of what we have now, what the police maybe has in place, what the fire has in place, so you can kind of review that. But I wanted to have you, Ms. Salter.
Yeah, I did want to let Mr. Wyatt know too, because I know that was one of the reasons why y'all selected Cobb's Allen, because they have an HR standpoint, but, and they are helping us work with the revisions of the handbook, but I've been in contact with Brian Butler, I think his name, but we knew that this needed to be addressed, so we didn't want to wait for the handbook, because we just, like he said, needed to have a consistent policy. But we are keeping them in the loop. But we actually did form, the mayor has an employee benefits committee that met. James Yates was the head of it, and a representative from every department was there. And they actually came up with one that they presented to the mayor, and that's the one that, and actually, Mr. Jones, have you 2 copies, and Robert's verifying with James which one's the latest one, because he was, whatever we adopt, we're gonna have to get the personnel board to approval. But they've gotten pretty hands-off about leave, as long as it's something that go against anything they have in place, or that y'all pass a policy. But I thought I would send that to y'all after the meeting tonight, and we'd start with that one, and then I have some other examples that we might like to incorporate for some other cities if there's some problems with that one. But I thought we'd at least start with the one that the Employee Benefits Committee came up with. But it has not gotten approval from Dr. Crenshaw, but he did have comments that he didn't see anything wrong with it. But there's some other issues that we could talk about later, or whether you want to whether you want the employees have to be paid back when they retire, or whether you want it to be dollar for dollar or hour for hour, and those type of nuances. So that's what, it's just that we need to really not wait till the budget hearings if we can, because you have issues all the time when people, unfortunately, especially this time when they're out sick, and having everybody know kind of the same. Now, the library, I will say, they have their own, and I didn't put that one in here, but I will, but they have their own board. So we could actually, but Berkeley, the park board follows what we do, and our city handbook right now is silent to it, so that's why it's been made by department. But if you're okay with it, Mr. Jones, I'll send you the one the police is using. And fire, you do have one, or no? Okay. We'll send you the one the police is using, and the one that the personnel board, that the Employee Benefits Committee came up with. And then maybe the next time we can have some of our thoughts to you about where we think whether it's okay as it is, or maybe tweak it. And have the discussion next time if y'all have been able to look at it on the 20th. Is that okay?
Sure. Was the mayor, he was going to comment about this as well. I don't, did he leave?
Can I make a comment? I mean, it seems to me that the Employee Benefit Committee ought to be looking at everything and then recommending to us what needs to be done, I would think. And then we just, if we like it, we approve it, as opposed to us looking at all the different.
Well, they did have this one, but it's been some time since they met. I think they're kind of disbanded now, because it's been a while since this one was presented. So if y'all just want to look at this one and say yes or no and don't look at anything else, that's fine. We were just giving you some other examples, and you actually asked for the Board of Education, so I have theirs here too. But we thought we'd start with, one department already has one that they're using that is not in our handbook. So we're going to have to consider theirs, I guess, at least look at what they're doing, and then the one that the Employee Benefits Committee came up with. But it's been quite a while, Robert. They haven't met in a while.
They probably haven't met in a year.
Yeah, a year or two. So it's not like they just came up with it, but I'm glad to have, I'm fine to have James Yates knew that we were bringing this, as he gave me the copy of what he was working with. But I'm fine to have him here talk to you on the 20th. But I just thought the starting point would at least be what one department's doing and what the Employee Benefits Committee came up with as a recommendation. And then I can send you any other CDs that we have here if you want to look at it, or we can tweak it or whatever. It's just however you want.
Which department was that that's already got one?
Police.
Police.
But it hadn't been council, it was not adopted by council. I guess it was an internal policy. That's why we're trying to have one that council adopts for the city, and is actually, this one will actually be incorporated in our handbook, because the handbook is actually silent with related donated leave, sick leave.
So, Mr. Harden, I agree with you. I mean, I have an HR background myself, but, when you get into some of these specialties within leave policies, I mean, it gets very complex. So we do need to rely on them and then run it by Mr. Kendrick and kind of look to find a consistent policy that would cover everybody. So that's kind of where we are. So we'll send out what was recommended by the committee. If we need Mr. Yates he was the only department head, as Mr. Burgett said, that had attended those meetings. So if maybe he can come talk through what they had talked about. But that's all that I know about it. So I think we need to carry it over. We'll send you the information. And
I have an email I can send you too with it, where James Yates had submitted, it's been quite some time, to Jeff Crenshaw of the Deputy Director of the Personnel Board under Lauren Oliver, and he had some comments too. So anyway, I'm happy to send that one out to you as well. And I also, if you look in the news, I have that too. The city of Birmingham has just adopted one. They're in the process of adopting one as well, so.
okay. So without objection, we'll carry that over for consideration. And I promise, Mrs. Smith, we won't send this to special issues. We'll deal with it here. Although this is definitely a special issue. So we'll deal with that. Okay, moving on to new business. 160620, request to authorize mayor to sign an annual maintenance agreement with Motorola for the radio system and NICE recorded. Yes, Lieutenant.
This is currently budgeted in our maintenance contracts for the radio system under maintenance in the fire department, 0115. The NICE recorder is budgeted in the 911 maintenance contracts, the 1515 account. This is our annual agreement that we send to Mr. Kendrick to get checked. This covers our entire radio system from the dispatch consoles up to the tower site, even the new center, and then also covers our NICE radio recorder. Total cost is $62,000 for the radio maintenance and $11,800 for the NICE recorder.
What was the nice?
$11,800
Okay.
Is that a year?
per year.
And
Now,
that's,
in the maintenance contract for the radio system, this also includes what we call an SUA-2, which is the system upgrade agreement. When we sold you guys this radio system, we asked for a lot of money to buy it, and part of that was it was not going to be a 5-year radio system. So this money we spend every year keeps us on the latest and greatest software. It keeps everything up to date, and every 2 years we do a complete equipment refresh. So that maintenance contract number is a little high at $62,000, but understand that includes all of our servers, switches, all the software we need to stay on the latest platform with Jefferson County and the Alabama interoperable radio system.
okay, thank you. And tell us what NICE stands for?
It is the name brand of the radio recorder. It doesn't stand for anything. That is their name brand.
So is it a NICE radio? It's a NICE radio?
NICE brand radio logger.
And
I was hoping that was an acronym or something, but obviously.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
And this will cover all the fancy new stuff in our E911.
Not all of it.
Okay.
All of the radio components. Yes,
Okay.
we bought a new phone controller which handles all of our 911 phones in and out. That is paid for monthly on our AT&T phone bill, so that is separate from this account.
And while I got you up here, Mr. Jones, where are we on timetable switching over?
We're there.
They've already.
It's already complete.
Thank you.
They
Can we
switched
say-
over.
I was there about 3 weeks ago, but I guess.
We have been there since the 17th of May.
We called and got service switched over from the temporary to the
When
permanent
was
the
I
other
there?
day.
I went for,
We're downstairs in the basement. You have to go on quite a journey to get there. But
And
no, I'm talking about the E911 setup and,
It's live. We're
Okay.
there operating. We actually met with somebody today about selling the old furniture, trying to get some offers for you guys in the old center. It's cleaned out. There's nothing left operating there. We're 100% in the new building.
And
the
Counselor Wright?
dispatchers have raved about it.
Yeah, Counselor Wright, you should
Yes.
definitely,
Yeah, I would too. Those are some
They-
nice desks.
so Lieutenant Broadhead gives excellent tours. I would recommend going to see it because it's definitely an impressive space.
You know, I got the
kinda
nickel.
geek out a little bit
I
when it
got
comes
Captain,
to
I got the Captain Sutton tour.
Yeah,
You know.
He didn't know about that.
it's nothing like the Lieutenant
I
Broadhead
need to
tour.
go back again, okay.
Anytime.
Okay,
I
so
would
we're
move
looking
to
at,
approve the contract, the mayor signing the contract.
okay, and that would include 52,000 for the radio system and 11,800 for the NICE recorder as budgeted.
13,100 for the nice.
Okay, thank you, Mike. 13,100 for the NICE.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What was the rate?
You would have been shorted. That wouldn't have been nice. Okay, so it's been motioned by Mrs. Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Wow, Mr. Harden.
Makes me
Surprise.
feel good.
Okay, any other discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank
All
you.
opposed by the same sign? 3-0. Anything that's been tabled that we need to deal with? Okay, did I miss anything, Mr. Harden?
No, I think you're good this time.
Okay. With that, we're adjourned.
Mr. Waltney?
Here.
Mr. Wolverton? Is Mr. Wolverton here on Zoom?
Supposed to be.
He is.
Yes, he is.
He's on Zoom?
There he is. He just said yes.
Okay. Mr. McCluskey?
Here.
Mr. Wyatt? Here. And Mr. Harden? Here. So you have a quorum. Everybody's here.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, I will entertain a motion for dispensing of the reading and approval of the minutes from the June 15th Public Works meeting.
Second.
I'm sorry. It's hard to see, I can't see mouths.
1, 2.
1, 2, thank you.
That's
Counselor
Hard-
Harden and
that
Counselor
Harden,
Wyatt
Wyatt?
for the second.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. This motion carries 5-0. All right, under old business, 080719, request for consideration changes to support infrastructure installation, Counselors Gwaltney, Thames, and Wyatt. This item, we need one more carryover. I need to finish up the final details with Mr. Kendrick, and then we'll have something for everyone to review at our next committee meeting. Any questions? Any objections to carrying over? Okay. 010220, request for updates in the Green Springs Revitalization Project, Berkeley Squires, Public Works Director. Director Squires, do you have any updates on the Green Springs project for us tonight?
We'll make next month, not.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from the committee or any other counselors present? No? All right, thank you. We'll carry over.
Work session.
Yep. Carry over this item. 050420, request for the Birmingham Waterworks Board to address a leak at 300 block of Rumson Road. Counselor Andrus. Good news?
Well, it seemed that it had died down Berkeley, but then it seemed it picked up again. I'm wondering, I don't mean to say, I'm wondering if you were right about the rain, because it did stop. And I don't know, they had come out, they had gotten into the sidewalk a little bit and done some work, and then it did dry up. Then we had a big rain, and then the same pattern has established itself. And then I did hear from the homeowner that it's pretty pervasive right now. What have you heard?
I know it was there on yesterday, I saw it. I mean, I went down there and looked.
But I'm saying, I'm wondering now if what Berkeley had said was where the water's gonna find a way down the hill, and that's where it's,
And I think, again, I mean, they've been out there several times, it dried up,
it did dry up, it did.
and
And if I'm correct, the last time that they tested it, there was no chlorine in the water.
They were
right?
gonna test it, they hadn't yet, is that right?
now they've tested it, there's no more of that, I mean, it's,
I thought that was the report last time.
yeah, that, it's, I mean, we got, as I told y'all, we have the same issue on there 6 acres.
Okay.
Main acres right now, and it rained the other night, it's back, looks like there's a leak, but you go 5, 6 days without rain, and it's gonna dry up.
It did dry up. I'm wondering, how do we proceed? I mean, obviously, we will drop the item because it's not, if it's not a waterworks issue.
Instead of us dragging this thing through the mud, if it goes any
No
further,
pun intended.
you call me,
Yeah.
and we'll go back out there again and look.
Okay, but I'm saying, obviously, we're gonna take waterworks off of the item, but is it something that we as a city can look at drainage? Because it does stain the sidewalk, it is water that is diverting down that sidewalk.
We can look at it, but it's like Greg, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I got 3 other locations right now doing the same thing. I mean, you're trying to alternate water coming off the side of the mountain. There's no, again, I'm not being over, when you go in to disturb something and build something like a sidewalk in there, that water's gonna find a path of least resistance coming down through there, and that's what it's done. And again, we can go in and redo the sidewalk again and try to do it, but I mean, there's no guarantee that water's not gonna come right back. I don't, again, I told a lady today at another location, that's Mother Nature, and that's God, you know, we're gonna take it up with one upstairs, go ahead, but I mean, there's not a whole lot that the city can do with that.
I was just wondering why it was dry for so long, and then it started, I felt like it started when some of that work had happened, and there's still a lot of other stuff that needs to happen on that sidewalk that Wyatt and I have walked up and down the length of it, and I know he's got on his list.
Let's just do this, I mean, Alan and Vincent, again, I don't know.
Okay.
We continue to monitor it.
Okay.
Let's just keep watching, and again, if it continues, it gets so bad, the thing that,
Yeah.
you know, we may have to take a look and see what measures can be taken. That's all I know to do at this time. I mean, again, trying to find where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the waterworks now, I mean, I can say that now. John, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Counselor Anderson Harden, before we move on,
Yeah.
or to entertaining a motion, are you satisfied with, have the repairs been completed? It's not asphalt in the middle of a sidewalk now?
Well, that's other stuff that I'm working on Wyatt with, so I'm comfortable going down that road with Wyatt. You could take it off your
After-
agenda.
Yeah, I need to be on the agenda for that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't have a brand spanking new sidewalk with asphalt in it.
What's that, Berkeley?
Wyatt's working on that.
Yeah, Wyatt's got that with me. He does.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Excellent.
All right, I'll move to drop.
Okay, drop from Counselor McCluskey and seconded by Counselor Wyatt. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed, nay. All right, get that
Mr.
motion.
Wolverton is
Yeah,
voting on
he was the quiet 5-0, I heard. Unless that was an objection, Counselor Wolverton.
It was not.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's make sure we had you right. Okay, there are no items under new business, so with that, Public Works is adjourned.
Special Issues Committee on July 6th. Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Gwaltney?
Here.
Mr. Higginbotham? It's out. Mr. McCluskey?
Here.
And Ms. Andrus? Here. All right, so you have one out, but you still have a quorum.
Yes. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our June 15th meeting without a reading, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McCluskey, second by Ms. Andrus. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, 4-0, those are approved. Okay, 17-10-15, request for consideration of noise and odor problems from Buffalo Rock and Mayfield Barbers. The good news is, we approved Ron Thompson's contract and proposal at one of our previous meetings, because on Friday, we had a resident report a spill of something into the creek, and that person notified David Butler from the Cahaba River Keepers, and David and I and JJ got to spend part of our Friday afternoon in the blazing hot trying to figure out what in the world was going on in the creek, which it was difficult because everything was closed on Friday, which made things a little bit complicated. But we did, I texted Ron and called him. Actually, he was out of town, but he had one of his younger, I'm sorry, my glasses are fogging up. One of his younger engineers from AES come out to meet with us, and he did. He even took a sample of the water. We weren't sure if, because all the labs were closed, if he was going to be able to get the sample read in time before it wasn't able to be read anymore. But David took some readings. He sent me some pictures, so we have all of that information. And I did go back out, and I didn't see anything. Now I'm not a environmental engineer, and maybe they might have seen something. But the water where we were primarily seeing the discoloration and the viscous substance it wasn't there anymore. The water had cleared up. And while we were there, David and I saw numerous fish swimming in the area of the, whatever it was, that seemed to be fine. We didn't see any fish floating or anything like that. So anyway, but it was very helpful to have Ronald close by so that we could call and have the engineer come out and help us. So that was good. And David Butler from Cahaba Riverkeeper was also really awesome about the whole thing. So, but we'll carry that over as we continue to work on that problem. I don't know if anybody saw the article that ran in the Homewood Star in the most recent issue, but Ingrid did a good job of kind of explaining the whole situation and talking to some of the neighbors. So we'll carry that one over without objection. 170220, request to address trash pickup concerns and requirements for downtown business properties. Tim Hansis, Mr. Wright. Berkeley, where are we on that? Or
I talked to Brian Davis and Best Day, they require all their businesses and restaurants, they have to provide their own trash pickup and all. And Ronnie Vaughn, I thought, Ronnie and I have been playing phone tag, but I'm pretty sure Ronnie and them, they do the same thing. All businesses are separated out from the residential.
Okay.
I verify with Ronnie on that amount, but Best Day requires their businesses
to pay for their own trash collection?
Yes, it's not part of what Best Day does.
Okay, so in Vestavia, say like, let's just take Bob Baumhower's, they pay to have somebody come and empty their dumpster?
Yeah,
Okay.
they provide their own dumpster and trash pickup.
Okay,
I don't mean to get in your meeting, but I was shocked when I saw that the city was picking up commercial, and not everybody. They pick up some and not others. And I kept thinking, well, somebody's gonna scream bloody murder because the city's not taking theirs, but they're taking their neighbors.
yeah.
I mean, it's very much a commercial property owner usually gets it picked up by,
An outside
somebody, yeah, a third
service.
party that they
Yeah.
pay for.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Berkeley, do they have a draft of an ordinance or?
Yes, I can get that from Brian, I'll get it from Ronnie as well.
All right, yeah, if I could see those two, and then we can look at, getting with
Having-
Mike and formulating something to finally require trash receptacles for our businesses, particularly downtown.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like not only supply their own receptacles, but take care of having their own trash emptied.
Correct.
Or pay us to do it? Is
Or,
that an option?
well, I mean, Berkeley, how would that work? They couldn't, I mean,
We wouldn't be able to empty a dumpster. We don't have
We don't
the
have the
capabilities to
capacity
empty a
to do
dumpster,
that.
do we?
no, we could just do regular cans.
See, Vestavia has they outsource their garbage, so they don't have
Yeah.
in-house.
Oh, they don't have a city service, yeah, okay,
None of them have the city service, they outsource theirs.
yeah. Yeah, Pat?
Madam Chairman, just
Yes.
a quick question, and
Yes.
Berkeley may know this. Do you know what the breakdown is percentage-wise of what businesses have their own dumpsters in downtown and, let's just say, the wood strip area now versus?
That's where I'd have to pull it off my file of work and all. I mean, some do, some share, and all. I mean, the majority of them, I mean, we pick up. I mean, that's one of the issues, is when you'll have some that'll throw theirs over on top of the old ones, and leave their stuff out in the alley.
Terrible.
You know,
Yeah. If you haven't had a chance, drive down one of the alleys. It's pretty
I've been to
bad.
the one behind
Especially if we have weather.
the
It's a
bike
mess.
store and, yeah.
This is due, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, well, Berkeley, if you'll get the ordinances if you get the ordinance from Vestavia, and then we can
Thank you. I'll get
work
you
on
after
them.
you get to
Okay, awesome. Okay, well, we'll carry that one over to discuss in our next committee meeting. Okay, sorry. Okay, 030620, request permission to place tables on the city sidewalk at 2801 18th Street South for the Maple Street Biscuit Company, Chris Sears, Greg Cobb. Mr. Cobb called me this afternoon, and not seeing Mr. Sears here, he said Mr. Sears asked to carry this over because they were having a new drawing done that was more representative of what they were asking, and he asked that we carry it over so that he could come back on the 20th with a complete and final drawing. So I told him that, but that was fine. So without objection.
Councilor Smith, one question.
Yes, sure.
Can we get a copy of that drawing ahead of time so I can send it to GMC to review, to make sure?
Yes, yes,
So what
I will.
we don't want to do is we don't want to block that brand spanking new ADA compliant ramp that's
Yeah.
coming up and causing
Yes.
the issues there. And also, just the general expansion of pedestrian space there is important. So
Yes, okay, I will have Greg
Going in
ask
deep.
him to just email that, well, when he gets it, I'll ask him to email it to me so that you
we'll
can
to
send it
Keith
over to
Strickland,
them, yeah.
with GMC. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Do that. Okay. And new business, 190620, public hearing set for July 13th, 2020 at 6 PM for consideration of a variance to the sign ordinance at 500 Shades Creek Parkway. Sherry White, Greg Cobb. Also, when Mr. Cobb called me, he said that the applicant has asked for this to be dropped, but yet we already have a public hearing set for next Monday. So, Mike, how do we need to handle it? Just carry it and then drop it when we get to the public hearing?
Well, you could, yes, ma'am, you could do both of them.
Because since the public, oh, has the public hearing been noticed, Melody? Yes, okay. Yeah, and then we can just deal with dropping it when we get there. Okay?
Second.
Motion from Mr. McCluskey, second from Ms. Andrus. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that will go to public hearing on Monday night, and we will drop it as soon as possible. All right, unless anybody else has anything, we are adjourned.